Yo, we talking about groceries on FBA. Yo, easy. Yeah. J to the O, the Mayos. Groceries on FBA. What you know about that? Step your game up, suck it.
Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's about 8 o'clock. A lot of you guys may not know me. My name is Todd Ryan. I work with Sean a lot on the back end. I used to do quite a few webinars with him, and kind of took a break from the webinars because I was getting behind in some of my own business stuff. So haven't done one of these in about a month and a half. But Sean and Valerie had a death in the family actually yesterday, Sunday. So they're tending to their personal affairs and getting all that stuff worked out today and aren't joining us. So I'm filling in. So this is the normal Monday night mastermind. So you guys are more than welcome to ask any questions, bring up any products, any challenges, any issues you've had. I've got the chat window up, so whichever you feel comfortable with, you can hop on the chat, or you can just hop on your microphone and talk, whichever you feel most comfortable with. Barring any questions, Sean asked me to do kind of a refresher on wholesaling. There's a couple webinars out there that walk you through the entire process, but it's, in my opinion, it seems like one of the hardest first, or I guess second steps for most new sellers, other than, private labeling, which is kind of an advanced topic. But wholesaling basically is buying directly from the manufacturer or the distributor for a product. So when you buy from, say, Walmart or Target or Kmart or, even ThinkGeek, some of the websites that resell other products, you're buying from a reseller, which is essentially what you are. So obviously the more people that touch a product, the higher the price goes. So wholesaling is basically just moving you up the food chain to where you're getting the product for cheaper, arguably the same price as the person you're buying it for, but depending on volume. So you're buying it cheaper and direct from the source. A lot of benefits to wholesale. Primarily, they're very low touch products, so you don't really have to scrape stickers off. You don't have to deal with dented boxes as much. It's a lot more efficient. If you order 96 of a wholesale item, that's pretty much an online order, and then you just receive it and sticker it. Where if you're doing retail arbitrage, getting 96 of an item can be quite the task sometimes. So it's convenience, definitely more efficient, quicker the process. The flip side is, number one, and it's the first thing that Sean usually points out, is the profit margin is significantly lower. So for instance, I'm wrapping up my books from my accounting from 2015, and we averaged around 14.5% profit margin for the year. And that was because I was almost 100% wholesaling. Not a lot of money. I mean, 40% is still better than you would make on a hey Barry. A lot of money, more money than you would make on a stock market or a investment, but it's low for RA standards. Whereas Sean, there for a while, he may still be doing it. He wouldn't buy anything that was less than 100% ROI. So that's definitely the big trade-off. The thought process is that you can make it up in volume. So if I could do 1,000 items at 15% and less time it takes, a retail arbitrage person to do 20 and 100%, then it's closer numbers. But that is arguably one of the drawbacks. This year I've been focusing on buying more sales and liquidation items from wholesalers because they have those too, and I'm trending around 20%. But 20, 25% is usually about as good as you get for most wholesale traditional accounts. The second drawback is it's a win big, fail big. Not quite the scale as private label, but there are minimum orders typically either overall on an order or an individual item. So, you can run down to, say, Target and grab one hand soap and see how that sells. Sticker it, send it in, see how it goes. With wholesale, you're not grabbing one. You're grabbing at least the case of, say, 12, maybe even a minimum of 36, maybe even a case or a pallet or a Gaylord. You have to be more sure of your buying selections before you do wholesale, because you're on the hook for a lot more. So those are, really the pros and cons of wholesale. The actual process for getting wholesale is very simple for most products. Before you seek out your first wholesale account, excuse me, you're going to make sure you have all your ducks in a row for your state as far as a reseller. So at a minimum, that's your sales tax reseller certificate, because every wholesaler will ask for that. Some of them, if they're based in your state, will ask for a, like an operating license, or, if your, local area has some other requirements, they're going to ask for that. So the wholesalers will expect you to be in legitimate business. They don't demand that you're an LLC or a corporation, and I've heard some people that didn't have a problem getting an account, but they definitely typically look for an LLC or corporation, and for you to have, a website, and it can be a free one. Mine's a free one-page website. They look for you to have, your sales tax ID, like I mentioned. Some of them want business cards. Some of them want, like letterhead or something like that. You just really never know what they're going to ask for. So at the minimum, I would get my sales tax license established before you move forward. So finding a wholesaler, we did one webinar that people seem to enjoy, where we actually went out and found a wholesaler, right there during the middle of it. So let's see if I can share my screen out if I have that option still, and we can walk through it. Otherwise, I can verbally walk you through it. And it does not look like I have that ability. Okay. Oh, there we go. I'm sorry. So let's share out my desktop, and we will pop open the browser. And if anybody has a product or a manufacturer, something that they're curious about a wholesaler, you can throw it up in the chat window. Make sure it's something you don't mind sharing. Otherwise, we'll just take a look at something. We'll look at Walmart.com. We'll pick a product and see how far up the food chain we can get with it. And it's pretty much the same process to find the wholesaler, no matter which site you're looking for, which product, or where you get the idea. So, it's the same basic process. So let's see if we can find something that won't be an Amazon exclusive home improvement. We'll grab that. And let's look for a tool. There we go, portable power tools. Okay, so say we were, and one thing I will mention is, if you have a product that you're sourcing at Walmart already, you're more than likely not going to be able to beat that price from a wholesaler. Walmart buys at such volume, and such a immense scale, that their pricing that they're offering to you as a customer is really about the same as you would get from a wholesaler in a lot of situations. There's some exceptions, but in general. So some of the products that I carry, that Walmart carries, sometimes they are selling it for the same price I'm paying for it from a wholesaler. Now, I go ahead and sell that product on Amazon for more money, but just so you know, if it's a product on Walmart, you may have a tough time finding a good wholesale source for it. But let's take this Black & Decker rechargeable screwdriver. Say you ran across that in the store, you have it at home, and you think, hey, that'd be a great seller. There's a couple of listings on Amazon that they're priced high, or it's that they don't really have in stock, so I think I can beat that. So first thing I do is you look for the manufacturer name. He'll either go by brand or manufacturer, or sometimes it's right in the name. Like right here it says Black & Decker. So just start with the manufacturer, and there are a couple of key search terms you can use. And it doesn't matter if you use Google or Bing, either one. I'll switch to Google because everybody seems to be a little more familiar with that. Paste in the company name, and then you can I would start with either wholesale is one search term. You can also do distributor, Or what I usually do is I just start right at the company name, because more often than not, they will have, reseller distributor information right there on their website. So we type in Black & Decker, we go to their website. Nearby retailers is just going to show you people that are selling the same product nearby close to you. Get rid of their little pop-up. So first thing I do is I look on the top to see if they have wholesaler, distributor, or something like that. The big companies won't. But then I pop down to the bottom, and then you just look and see if there is, any mention of distributors or wholesalers or anything in those categories. They do not have anything like that, so we will leave this page up for now, because we may have to come back to it. I'll show you. So at that point, then I would go and type in Black & Decker and then wholesaler or wholesale. You have to be careful, because that's a popular search term for people to kind of take advantage of you. So you just kind of have to use a sniff test. I mean, obviously Home Depot and Amazon aren't going to sell you Black & Decker wholesale. There's a Black & Decker match that will send you to the retailers. AliExpress is an Alibaba express site or short site. That's going to be a knockoff, potentially, more than likely not a name brand Black & Decker source. Global Sources, we'll take a look at that one. Anything that sounds buzzwordy like trending wholesale or wholesale today or must buy is going to be not a good idea. You'll see some sites in every search. You just want to memorize those or note those down, and know that they're not going to be good selections. So AliExpress, DHgate, they're an aggregator of wholesalers. Alibaba is a third-party or private label type manufacturer that typically the name brands on that website are fakes, basically. Or Stanley Black & Decker, which that looks like maybe a parent company. So the only one that looks close was this Global Sources. And right when you get here, you can tell by this website that it's not a legitimate source for Black & Decker wholesale. Because you can see there's supplier rankings. All the locations are in China. It just doesn't look like a wholesale website. Most wholesale websites, a couple of keys are they will sometimes show you product information, but they will never show you pricing information without some type of sign-on. They all require some type of account application process. You can't just go to a legit wholesaler website, create a user ID, and you're in, because they're going to want your tax certificate. So there's always a process to go through. So this one fails the sniff test. So we're going to go ahead and close this one. So that leaves us with Stanley Black & Decker, which we'll see what that is. That may be a parent company. It looks like it is. Yep, it's Global Tools and Storage. So here's all the brand names, and you'll find this a lot. You want to you look for a certain brand, and you'll find it rolls up to a master brand that owns a whole bunch. So Black & Decker is owned by Stanley, it looks like, which also makes Bostitch, DeWalt, a whole bunch of different tools, as well as other stuff. So since this is their parent company, we will look and see if there's anything regarding wholesale or distributors or anything like that. If there's nothing, which isn't uncommon, first thing I do is I go to Contact Us, and I just fill out either a corporate office request, or if they have a general Contact Us request, just basically anything that's not media. Obviously, we're investor. Just email this email address and say, I'm a global retailer, would be interested in carrying your product. Can you send me information on setting up a wholesale account, that type of thing. That, especially if it's a corporate website, that will 99% of the time get you a fairly quick answer and a precise answer, and they will either refer you to a distributor or wholesaler, or they will advise that they only sell through their established retailers. But at least you'll get an answer. The difference between a distributor and a wholesaler in general is a wholesaler typically carries one product line or similar types of product lines, and is typically either a division of a company or a direct manufacturer representative. A distributor So, for instance, a wholesaler for Stanley Black and Decker would probably carry all these brands. I would guess, maybe not the garage doors, but they would carry the major tool brand names. A distributor is someone who carries product lines from usually a similar product vertical. So I would expect the distributor to have Black and Decker, all these brand names, plus Makita, plus Ryobi, plus a couple other ones. So it's a couple of differences to think about. If you're just looking for the wholesale supplier for a particular product, and the wholesaler is the way to go. If you're looking to kind of master a niche or kind of be a subject matter expert in one area, then a distributor is something that's useful to find. So there's distributors for clothing, distributors for home and garden, outdoor products, just any kind of vertical. They typically, in one instance that we've given in these webinars, is Entertainment Earth. They are I would consider them more of a distributor than a wholesaler. We'll go to the website here real quick. Let me see. Entertainment Earth. We sign in, and they are a distributor that specializes in really entertainment. So they carry board games, they carry action figures, T-shirts. They're not a T-shirt wholesaler or a wholesaler that specializes in T-shirts would just have, a wide line of T-shirts, basically. They're an entertainment distributor, so they carry not only a wide selection of brands here, so these are all the brands they carry, but they also carry a wide variety of themes, which are the individual, in this case, shows or product lines or characters. And then they also carry a wide range of products, so action figures, apparel, fragrances, pretty much anything you think of. So they're more character name or series name focused. So Superman, for instance, they're going to carry every possible Superman paraphernalia they can get their hands on. So they're not just going to limit themselves to board games, video games, or T-shirts. They're going to carry everything from coffee cups to watches to logo lights, that type of thing. So this is more what a true distributor looks like. Entertainment Earth is a good one to get your feet wet with, as far as learning how to set up an account in the process, because they don't really exclude people. So as long as you have the information they need to set up an account, they have something like 17 or 18,000 products at any one time of a wide variety. And it'll kind of get you used to seeing what wholesale pricing and that type of thing looks like. Barry says, since their pricing is higher than most others, how would you suggest using them? That is a very good question, and I was going to mention a couple of drawbacks in Entertainment Earth. I always recommend these to people as their first wholesaler, because they get your confidence up, kind of get you used to what wholesalers look like and how they act and what they require. A couple of things you'll notice with wholesalers is you're probably not going to get free shipping unless you spend a large amount of money. So either they're going to charge your UPS account or FedEx like Entertainment Earth does, or they're going to add on shipping, or they're going to require a really high minimum. You're not going to spend $25 and get free shipping. So that's one thing that you'll have to account for. Another thing is most of them are it's tough to get terms with them unless you already have other accounts set up. And the ones that accept credit cards, which is most of them, are probably going to charge you a percentage fee on top of that. So, most of the distributors or wholesalers will charge you 1 to 3% for using a credit card. So if you want to avoid that, you have to either prepay with a wire transfer. Someone will take money orders, that type of thing. But, you're going to have a couple surcharges on top of that. One thing to be careful with Entertainment Earth is they're not a manufacturer, with few exceptions. They have some of their own product lines, but they typically order direct from China products. And once a new product comes out, they'll list on their website. They will take pre-orders, and then they will place one PO order. So like this, good example, coming in July 2016. The risk with buying from Entertainment Earth is, say I decide that, this is a great deal, this watch is going to sell like crazy, I'm going to make a lot of money, I want to buy it, and I want to order 90. And once I click add to cart and to complete the checkout process and supply your purchasing information, you're locked in. You're required to make that purchase. If you cancel it, there's I want to say it's a 15% cancellation charge. Even if they never shipped it, they go charge you 15% to cancel that order. They have a certain amount of items that are allocated to them, either up front on their PO or once they send the PO. So pretend, let's say Entertainment Earth is only getting 1,000 of these, and your order of 90 is 1,100 through 1,190. You're not going to get the July 2016 shipment. You're going to have to wait, basically. So July will come and go. They'll update your order date for expected to some future date, and you'll be in line for the next PO. If the PO gets canceled and the manufacturer doesn't make any more, they'll just cancel your order. You don't get any money back. Same with back orders. When you order it, you really have no idea when you're going to get it. So if you do decide to source on Entertainment Earth, pay attention to the emails when they talk about things. Just add to the website and jump on those as soon as possible. They're on the West Coast in California, so if you're on the East Coast, you have a little bit of advantage there. But jump on those and get your order in so you get the first allocation. Because like I said, if you're, I've got some orders that I think my oldest one is going back to 14 months where I actually placed an order for a product. I still don't have it, but I'm on the hook to buy it. So that's a buyer beware thing. Getting back to Barry's question, since they're a middleman, if you, for instance, this is made by AccuTime. If you were to go to AccuTime direct, and if you get a wholesale account set up with them, it would probably be, I would say, about $2.50 cheaper per item. So instead of paying $19.20, you'd pay $17.70. Now the difference is Entertainment Earth will let you buy one case. It looks like 10. So they will let you buy 10, which will be a quantity of 192. So one case of 10 is the minimum they'll let you buy. AccuTime may not have that low of a minimum. They may want a lot more money, so that's the drawback. But you are paying a little bit more for each item because there's a middleman. So in my experience, the only way I've made money, and I've made some great money on some items, is if you really have a good command of themes or characters. Then you know which items to jump on, when they first come out, and you take advantage of an order and be first to market on Amazon. So let's say American Horror Story. Say you are just the boss of American Horror Story. You know everything about everything when it comes to American Horror Story. And let's say that, let me find something coming. For instance, let's say this Twisty the Clown. Let's say that that's a major character that's going to be introduced in August for the new season. He played the main role in the book version of it. He's a fan favorite. People are really buzzing about it. That type of knowledge. Then you can take advantage and say, okay, well, I know this is going to be a great seller. I'm going to go deep and be first to market and make a ton of money. I've done that with what was it, Big Hero 6. They had a talking Baymax doll that was severely constrained. I got mine in about a week before Amazon said theirs to be shipping. So I got mine in, stickered it, sent them in, and I made about $50 per action figure on those. It was like a 8-inch action figure. I think I made $25 and sold for $75 or $80. So if you know what you're doing, or if, like me, you shamelessly use your kids' knowledge of anime and that type of thing to tell you what you're doing, you can take some risks there. The other thing to watch out for is they have a clearance sale at least 2 or 3 times a year where they will have, and not their weekly sale, because they have a weekly or monthly sale that's like 5% below best tier. So, for instance, on this item, their weekly or monthly sale would be, the best tier would be $18.30, so they give you 5% off of that. That's not really where you're going to get home runs. The ones I'm talking about are if they have closeout, and they don't have any currently, I don't see. But you'll usually see up at the top banner here, either clearance or closeout or outlet or something along those lines. Then you can make good money on that. This is that best tier pricing I was telling you about, where looks like some line that makes jewelry, tie class, and that type of thing. You get best tier pricing. So that's not even a great sale. All you get on that is just best tier. But on the closeouts and clearance sales, like last year and during the summer, they had clearance sale on their I call them onesies. They're like adult pajamas, but they look like a onesie for a kid, but they're adult size. I bought Doctor Who and Adventure Time and Batgirl, I think, costumes. And these adult costumes, extra large, ran me about $6 or $7, and they sold like crazy for $40 to $50 to $60 around Halloween or Christmas. So those are really the best places to make your money. Pam joined late. This is Entertainment Earth, right at the top. Hopefully you guys can see the screen. If you can't, let me know. But you go to entertainmentearth.com, Pam. We're talking about wholesaling, setting up wholesale accounts, and I was explaining that this is one of the best ones to start on. Not that they have great products and great deals, but it's a safe place to get an account started. So the clearance closeout is really the best place to make it. Barry has said niche products hard to find. Started them with Star Wars last year. Yeah, and that's. I'm glad you said that. I lost my train of thought. But that was the other thing I was going to say is if you're trying to get approved for Star Wars or if they restrict another category going forward, Entertainment Earth is a known and respected distributor. My sales rep even wrote me a kind of a recommendation letter for Star Wars saying that, we buy these directly from Hasbro or whoever the manufacturer was, and these are licensed, merchandise, yada, yada, yada. So Entertainment Earth will pass they look, smell, act like a legitimate distributor, so they will pass the sniff test most of the time with Amazon. And Barry said, since we're on toys, what are your thoughts about going heavy in toys now? Summer to Christmas, just not as heavy. Being wholesale, it's very similar in that I have to look for bargains to make good money. As I mentioned, I'm trying to push my ROI percent up this year. It's one of my business goals. So ironically, summer is one of the times that I do most of my purchasing and stock up. So usually the verticals I'm in, which are, entertainment related, so like board games and that type of thing, most of their clearance sales are in the summer. So one of my distributors just had one in April. So I spent probably $10,000 or $15,000 total with them on sales, a couple pallets. One of the other ones has one in July. So with my business model, what I have to do and plan for is I will spend that kind of money in the summer, and it will sell in the interim. It'll just kind of trickle, but I go ahead and set my prices for what I need to make out of it and just let the sales trickle out. And then, the bulk of my business happens obviously fourth quarter because of what market I'm in. Flipping that around, if your product line was mainly home and garden, yours will probably be the worst or the opposite model, where you would want to buy as much as you could from your distributors in, say, October, November, when most other places are icing over, and then just set on that until spring, around April. Let it sell in the interim, because stuff sells year round regardless of what it is, but they make all your money at that time. So to answer your question, I would not go heavy on anything right now unless it was a clearance or sale or closeout, or unless it's something that you knew the pattern of selling. I'm always an opportunistic buyer, so if I can, if the ROI is there, I don't sweat the sales rank as much. Toys, which is the category I'm in most of the time, I will buy toys up to around 400,000 or 500,000 sales rank. And checking my little chart, 400,000 or 500,000 puts me in about the 8%. It's still in the top 10%, but on the outer side. And even with, a rank like that, I'll still sell one or two a week, which I'm happy with this time of year. I used to work for, I still have a full-time job. I work in IT, and my previous employer was a nationwide private held retailer. It was about $1.7 billion company. And their model is very much like what we see in this business. I mean, we're kind of baby versions of those retailers, but their model was all of their capital spending and shareholder payouts and bonuses and everything came from the day before Thanksgiving through, I think theirs ran through January 15th. So every new store they built, every capital spend I got, capital funds I received, all that just came out of that those few months. The whole rest of the year, their goal was to cover their expenses. So from January 15th through the day before Thanksgiving, for them, their goal was to make sure they could cover salaries and rent and utilities and everything at all the stores. And that's very typical for retailers, where they're in the red all year long and then they make all their money fourth quarter. So don't be surprised if you see your business follow that same flow in wholesaling. Now, retail arbitrage and stuff like Sean does, he's buying at such deep discounted cheap prices that he's going to make money year round. But once you move into the realm of wholesaling, you're essentially copying the big boys and gals business model, which means you're going to be kind of held to the same patterns and the same trends as they are. Rankings, I kind of focus on hard to find, obscure. For me, my honeypot, what just makes me thrilled is when my distributor has a sale of out of print or no longer carried items, because that is my niche. I love to get things that they're no longer carrying anymore or producing, and then just set on those and go for kind of a long hold, because I'll still get some sales in the interim, but I just raise my price as the stock gets lower. So I don't really sweat rankings, because most of the time when I come on the listing, there's maybe 1 or 2 sellers left, and they're not FBA typically. So I'll take a chance on anything. $100 is kind of my cutoff in wholesale. If something's not a winner, I'll throw $100 at it and see how it does. More often than not, I'm surprised happily, and then I'll just replenish from there. But I don't really pay attention to ranking in most of my items. Now, if it's something with 50, I really pay more attention to the number of sellers, to be honest with you. If it's something that has 50 sellers on it and it's a great ranking, I'm not going to be interested typically, because I don't want to sit and wait for all those yahoos to sell through their stock. So I look for when I do a bulk evaluation, I will look for 20 or less sellers. I look for a sales rank of usually 300,000 or less, just first pass, to see if I can find any home run nuggets. And then I look for a 20% ROI or higher. That's kind of my basic parameters. And anything that meets that, then I go look at them one by one and check the reviews. I check and make sure it looks like a solid product, that looks like a product that we want to carry. I kind of stay away from some of the controversial stuff and just kind of narrow it down from there. Let's see what else. I know I've been just talking nonstop, so if you guys have any questions, please hop on your mic or put in the chat window. I do not mind at all, because I hate being monologued too, so I hate doing it to you guys. So wholesaling is it's more of a longer term game. I always compare it, and I've done some retail arbitrage. I don't really like being in retail stores. I'm not a real big people person. So, going to Walmart and hanging out for 4 hours is not my idea of fun. So that's why I kind of strayed away from it. But I always akin retail arbitrage to going to the casino. You walk up to a slot machine, put your money in, pull the crank, and right then and there whether or not you're a winner or loser. So it's more instant gratification. It's in and out. You can blow through a bunch of money real quick and have nothing to show for it. You can hit a home run, or it's all instant dynamic. Wholesaling is more like the stock market, where you buy something. It's more like you're taking a position on something. So you're buying something in quantity, saying, either I think this is going to really take off demand-wise, or I think these people are going to sell out, or you're taking some position for the most part to try to make money on it. Because the reality is, it's people talk about scarcity a lot, and I don't think that there's too many Amazon sellers or they're saturated. But the odds of you finding something online, which is accessible to everybody in the world, that no one else has found and figured out, is getting smaller and smaller. So odds are, if you can sit in your chair and find something in 5 minutes, there's 100 other people that could do it. So at that point, it's just a competency race, really, for me. And I've talked on a couple of other webinars. I won't harp on it, but I am very big on processes. So I am a firm believer in my repricer, and I'm a firm believer in my inventory analysis software. So my goal is just to not out hustle, because that sounds campy, but just outperform process wise my competitors. So I've got one product that there's three other sellers on FBA. It's a very hot selling product. The sales ranks around 8,500, and it's been a race with me and this other reseller. His store name is Woof Woof. Huge reseller, but he and I are constantly battling over these few products, and it's a battle to see who can stay in stock the longest. But also on the flip side, you don't have too much inventory in stock. So I use a repricer, obviously, to just be right on the razor's edge of repricing, and I use a restocking software that looks at my sales both today and for the past 7 weeks and past 3 months, and says, hey, based on this time last year and how you sold, this is what we're predicting you're going to sell in the next 30 days. It takes you 7 days to get it received, 7 days to get to Amazon, which is 14 days. So you need to order X to not run out of stock. And I can see in my business performance at times I ran out of stock, or I got caught my pants down. My numbers plummeted because of it. Barry's asking which inventory software is that. There's actually 3 that I've used, and I recommend all 3 of them depending on what your business model is. So I'll put the link here, and I think we've done webinars on at least 2 of them, but one of them is Restock Pro, and while that's coming up, I'll do the other one, Forecastly, and then the third one is a newer one, and it's called Inventory Planner. Let me go to the main sign-up page on these just so you guys can see the bells and whistles. Excuse me. Okay, so forecast. Well, let me start Restock Pro. I like doing things in order. Restock Pro, and all of them have the same basic concept. And if you guys want to get back on Wholesale, or you don't want to talk about this now, just shoot me a message and I can get back on track. But I'll just take a 5-minute sidebar on this. All of them work on the same process. They hook to your Amazon account. They look at what sells. You input your cost. You input your supplier, and you input how long it takes you, basically a turnaround time. And the turnaround time is specifically from the time you order it to the time it's at Amazon. So you have to factor in how long it takes you. You have to know how long it takes you when something comes in to get it stickered and back out. You have to know about how long it takes for something to ship to you from your supplier, and sometimes that's harder to guess than others. And you kind of have to have a feel for how long it takes for you to get your stuff checked in by Amazon. So it's kind of an educated guess initially, but and then they want to know how often you want to order, or another way of looking at it is how many days of stock do you want to keep. So, for instance, one of my suppliers is 14 days, for instance, and I want to keep 45 days in stock because I only want to order once a month. I need that 15-day buffer. So they just do the math from that point. And obviously, the longer you run one of these tools, the more useful they get, because if you start one today, it's going to know maybe what you sold in the past 2 weeks. But a year from now, it's going to know what you sold for the past year and be able to spot seasonal trends potentially. So they all work the same way. They're just gathering data and trying to predict what you're going to sell. And they're giving you feedback as far as if it's profitable. That's why you give them your cost, and giving you kind of a tickler as to when you need to order something based on how long it takes you to get it there. They're all around the same price. Restock Pro, I believe, is the cheapest at $39.99. Forecastly is, I want to say, 45-ish, and Inventory Planner is around 50. Restock Pro, the benefit to it shines if you do bundles or kits, which is, say you sell a gardening kit that's a bucket, a shovel, and some dirt. Well, Restock Pro is the only one of these 3 that knows that, hey, I can't tell you just order 30 of these gardening kits. You need to order 13 shovels, 4 bags of dirt, and 23 buckets, because I know how many of each you have in your inventory, so I can tell you which ones to order. The rest of them just say, hey, order these gardening kits, and you need to figure out what you need to order. So that's minor. I mean, I have a bunch of bundles and kits, but I am intimately familiar with what's in every one of them, so that doesn't really bother me. And the second feature is Restock Pro is the only one that lets you track your local inventory. And by local inventory, I mean storage unit, garage, warehouse, what have you. So when I was using Restock Pro, That's when, as a business model, I was trying to do just-in-time inventory or constrain my inventory. And that's a business concept from both retail and manufacturing, where you say, okay, if I sell 30 widgets a month, I don't want to have 400 in stock there, because then it's costing me storage space and I have funds tied up. If I sell 30 a month, I want to have 65 at all times, or 70, and I want to make sure I keep 30 to 40 in stock there. So I only have, enough to sell for a month with a buffer, and then I keep the rest of it locally because it's cheaper, or I don't even order it, until I need it. So I was warehousing a lot of stuff and just sending what I needed for the month. And so when I was using that, Restock Pro was great because they're the only ones that allow you to manage your local warehouse stock. And by that, I mean, for instance, in the gardening kit, rather than telling you to order 45 gardening kits, not only does it tell you need this much dirt, shovels, and buckets, it'll say, hey, pull those 14 shovels out of your warehouse that you already have, but then you need to order 7 more. And then, with the dirt, you need to order all 23 because you don't have any in your warehouse, et cetera, et cetera. So if that's your business model, Restock Pro is a great fit for that. Forecastly does not support local warehousing, and they support warehousing, but it's more of like a prep service. They support the concept of your inventory being somewhere else, but not for the sake of pulling inventory from it. But they don't support bundles or kits. But where they shine is if you're doing private label, they're perfect because they kind of work from a shipment building model. So rather than going and building a PO, which we jump back, that's the other thing Restock Pro does, is when it tells you, hey, you need these 3 items, you click the boxes and say, okay, I want those 3 items, and it builds a PO. And then you tell it when it's received, and you tell it when it's shipped, and then it knows when it's inbound to Amazon, and it counts for all of that. Forecastly works from a model of building your shipping plan first and uploading it to Amazon, and then it can build a PO from that. So that's kind of a drop shipper private label model that I don't really use, so I don't use the PO functionality. But they have really good analytics. I think their analytics are better than Restock Pro. They have great forecasting tools, and they will show you, like, not only will they show you whether or not an item is profitable, they also show you if you have too much of an item and what it's costing you, not only in tied up funds, but also in storage fees. They will also show you what your estimated long-term storage fees will be per item based on your stock, so you can kind of keep an eye on what you need to liquidate. And they also have a shipment reconciliation feature, which is really nice. All your Amazon inbound shipments, Amazon will close one of your shipments even if there's 30 items missing. They just mark it closed. Forecastly has a screen where you go in and say, okay, well, these were received and Amazon says they're closed, but they're not closed until you close them in Forecastly. So it shows you the amount of inventory that you have outstanding, what that cost is, and you can enter in notes like ticket number with Amazon, or just keep track of your shipments that way. So it's a way to manually reconcile your shipments and make sure everything is getting received properly. Inventory Planner, I just did a trial with this past year. I try to use every tool I can find just to stay on top of it. It is even less bells and whistles than Forecastly, which was less than Restock Pro, but it is just a straight up raw sales analysis machine. So this one I would say is suited more for someone who has their own website or sells on other platforms, because it's the only one that integrates with Google Analytics. But it speaks in corporate retailer terms. It's very much feels like a large business product. It's not written by an FBA seller. You can tell because they don't use FBA seller terms. They use terms like forecast and committed retail stock and that type of thing. But they have some great analytics, and that they show you, like all of them, your basic, here's your orders, and here's what we predict, and yada yada. But they will show you, they call your things you need to replenish under stock, and all of them will show you lost revenue. So they'll say, for instance, in this sample, you need to order 96 of these, and if you don't, we predict that this is how much revenue you will lose from August 20th to September 19th. So we'll pretend that's not in pounds. We'll pretend it's a dollar sign. So they're saying basically, hey, if you don't order this stuff right now, 96 of them, then it's going to cost you $4,300.09 in gross revenue in the month from August 20th to 19th. But it also does the same thing with overstock, which Forecastly shows you that to an extent, but this one kind of brings it more to your attention where it says, hey, the top products to promote. They say, hey, you need to work on the price or do some advertising or do something because this is unrealized revenue. So what this number is basically, they're saying by having your costs tied up with this many items on this item that's not selling, that's how much revenue you're losing because you can't spend this money to order these. So it translates into really hard, cold business numbers. It says, hey, by having too much of the stock, you're robbing yourself of the chance to spend it on stock that you're making money on. So if you're into the numbers and analytics and statistics, Inventory Planner, I think is fantastic, but it is a continuation of the features we were displaying where, it not only does it not have warehouse capability or kits or bundling, it has even less of the bells and whistles as Forecastly. There's no shipment tracking or anything. It's ironically the highest price of the three, but it's probably the more robust from a pure business, corporation standpoint. So I always say that user interface is a big deal. And Barry, you're reading my cue cards, I think. He just said, which is the most user-friendly. I always tell people, ScanPower and Inventory Lab. Sean uses ScanPower. I use Inventory Lab. Both of us will tell you there's not really a big difference between the two. So I always tell people, just, try out at least 2 or 3 of the products. Everybody has different likes. Some people like the minimalist look like Inventory Planner. Some people like Forecastly kind of has an elegant grid design, with a collapsible menu. They're very WordPressy looking. Restock Pro has some in-your-face blue crazy colors, and it's kind of a clunky interface, but it's large print. I'm trying to find the screen here. It's large print, easy to read. It just kind of, it's colorful, so if you're the type that, there it is. See, it looks kind of like an outfit I put together. It's got all kinds of crazy colors. It's kind of, I don't know, dated looking in the design, but it's very colorful. Forecastly, you're going to see 2 colors. You're going to see green and some variation of gray-black. Inventory Planner, you're going to see more colors, but it's very muted. It's more, black and white. So you're going to be in these tools all the time, and you need to understand what they're doing and feel comfortable with and learn the interface. So I say do the, if you're going to use one of these, do a trial on 1, 2, or even all 3. There's nothing to say you can't do a trial on more than one at a time, and just pick the one that you like better, that works better. Because as I mentioned, there's not much difference between these 3. Same with just about every tool. There's very few tools where there's a huge advantage of one or the other. I think the most user-friendly is probably Forecastly because it's kind of a mixture of the two. It's not gaudy like Restock Pro. I just didn't like their UI, and it was clunky and took up too much screen real estate. But it also doesn't use terms that, the average person doesn't use, like Inventory Planner. It uses real word, inventory and suppliers and impound. Every FBA seller knows exactly what each one of those 3 would mean. And the UI is functional, it's efficient. I'd say it's probably the most user-friendly. It is in beta. You have to sign up for the beta, and I think they're still taking people. I'm not positive, but the support is all U.S. support, English-speaking. They have the little pop-out help box on the side. They're probably the most user-friendly top to bottom, I would say. Here, I was trying to see if it had the shipment accounting screen to show you, but I don't see that. But yeah, here's some of the data that you would get in all of them, same as I showed you on the other one. Forecasted revenue is basically what they think you will sell between now and the end of the month. Orders, units. 15 items are going to be out of stock if you don't do something. Here's your orders, and then they have your best sellers as far as units, and some of them have best sellers as far as revenue, and then your stock warnings. Most of them, most of them, I guess. Restock Pro and Forecastly both allow you to set kind of a priority for keeping things in stock. Forecastly has the most features for that, but if you're doing private label, you don't want that to go out of stock ever, no matter what. So you would set that the highest priority. If you have something you can run down to Walmart and pick up that no one else has found yet, that's probably not as high of a priority. So it will kind of help guide you in your spend as to, keeping the most important things still in stock. Let's see. To answer actually both of your questions, Larry or Barry, about help you decide what to restock on. That's the exact reason I decided to get this, because I'm, and I've mentioned this on several of my webinars, I'm a very competitive, insanely competitive person, very emotional competitor. So I was always the guy in school that would get hurt in sports because I didn't know when to stop. I'm the same way with my products. I would get so caught up on trying to be competitive or try to sell a product that I would either drop the price way too low and lose money on it, or I would be out chasing a nickel, and tripping over dollars. So that's why I'm a big believer in repricers, because it keeps me out of my business in that aspect. It's just a machine repricing. And I can show you month after month when I implement it, the numbers where I got more net profit because I wasn't tinkering with it. The same with restocking. Restocking keeps me from going in and, because usually I go look at my inventory and see what's getting low or what I'm out of stock of. And I think, that was such a neat product. I'm going to get more of that because I think it's going to take off. Or I would have a product I really liked, I thought was cool. So I want to make sure I order more of those because I get to touch them when they come in. They're, just there isn't really a rhyme or reason for my reorder. Or I would see 4 of something selling one day and I would think, oh man, I got to order more of those. I'd order 20 and go to find out I still have 60 there. So my business is pretty much like a machine now, where I still manually go out and find products to buy and, price it and decide what to buy. But once I order it, I'm hands off because it gets shipped in. I have an employee that receives it, stickers it, ships it into Amazon. The repricer set up, so it reprices it, and I don't think about it again until it shows up on the screen to reorder. So I take my money that I'm going to spend for sourcing every week or two. I usually order about every 2 weeks, and I go in and I look and see what it's telling me to order, and that's what I order first. Because what that's forced me to do is to spend my money on the items that are the most profitable and that are selling the best first, so I don't miss a day of that, and then let it trickle down to the other things where I only need 1 or 2, or it's not selling as fast or as profitable. So yes, and to answer your question, Barry, I very much believe it helps. I'm a firm believer in processes. I don't think you should be robotic and just copy something out of a book, but I think you should figure out what you need to do, kind of document it, and then find something that helps you do that or automates that, which is Forecasting, Restock Pro, and Inventory Planner all do exactly what I want to do or would do manually if I had the time and discipline. And that is, when I go to order, I click on the supplier, I click on the number to buy, and it shows me right in this column on the other screen what the profit is. So I go look, and if it says order 80 of these and your profit's $1 a piece, or order 40 of these and your profit's $10 a piece, then it's no brainer. But it gives me all the information I want right there. And if I have enough money to reorder everything, which thankfully I typically don't, which is a good problem to have. But if I did, I would just select everything that's, they're suggesting reorder and just dump out the PO from there. So then I'm not really paying attention to it, but it also keeps me from ignoring the things that get stagnant because it will also tell me which things I have that are over 60 days old and haven't sold, or 90 days, or, that kind of thing. So I try to fence myself in, to keep me from tinkering with it too much. And if you're doing it for 3,000 products, you're a better man than I am. I don't have the desire or the discipline to be able to pull that off, Barry. So that's amazing if you're doing that. I am a extreme tightwad, so I really fight spending money on any tools. But I was kind of resistant to these because $50 is a lot of money, per month. That adds up. But I can't put this in the same category as TaxJar and my repricer and Inventory Lab. If I look at the time it saves me, $50 a month, even if you're paying yourself minimum wage, that's 6 hours. So if you can do what this does as good as it does in 6 hours a month or less, then maybe you can argue against it. Or to use Sean's analogy, if you can go out for an hour at Walmart and find $300 in profit, then you don't need to be taking, even 30 minutes to do this when you can get rid of it for $50. So it's just a time versus value, basically. Yeah, and I remember after the first Q4 going back and looking at my sales, thinking, "Oh shoot, when did I run out of that?" And I could have got more of those, and that burned it. I sold 30 of those one week, and the next week nothing because I ran out. And then by the time I restock, it's no longer hot, or someone else has moved in, or I look at it as I'm putting so much time and effort and really heart and soul into finding products that are profitable that I want to get every single inch out of them before I give them up. So that's what this software does, is it just makes sure that you keep what you need there to take advantage of as many sales as you can. And you combine that with your repricer, which makes sure you get every sale you possibly can. And then, like I said, it's like the old what was it, the song where the music goes round and round and comes out here. That's kind of what the business thing is. I drop money in this side on product, and then it goes around and round and round and round, spits out the other side and tells me what to do on the back side. Getting back to the wholesale was a good direction to look towards to help with slow sales. There's a couple of things. If I have slow sales, one of the first things I check is my repricer, because anything like last year in the fall, Amazon changed their buy box algorithm to where used to you could be within 3% of the buy box and get the buy box, and then all of a sudden overnight, literally, and it went waves by category, but it was overnight. They went to where you had to match the buy box or you didn't get it. In general. So used to, if you were at $5.03 and someone else was at $5 and someone else was at $4.97, you'd all kind of rotate on the buy box. Once they put that in, the guy at $4.97 stayed in it until everybody else got the $4.97 or they sold out. So my sales plummeted, and that's the first thing I checked is my repricer and looked at how I wasn't getting the buy boxes often, and that's when through research and talking with other people online, we figured that out. So I would start with my repricer. I would also look at, some of these inventory apps help because they show you whether or not you're getting low views or low conversions. So one of the other things I would do is, it depends on if you're talking about slow sales on 3,000 random items or slow sales based on 10 core items. If it's core items, be cool. Be cool. One thing to pay attention to, and I will show that to you right now because this bit me. Let me get signed in here. I love Be Cool. I use Be Cool, but there was something that kind of bit me in the butt on the rule. There is a setting here that says when you have the buy box. There we go. When you're in the buy box. Even though it's capitalized, and I read it 100 times, I never really absorbed it. And that is, when you're in the buy box, this is the only setting that will be used. What that means is it ignores these settings, and it ignores these settings. So that can come into play, like if you, like I do, like if I'm versus a fulfilled by merchant, I price it $3 higher above their price. And I tinker with this sometimes. No, it's not too late. You can come on, Barry. I'll stay as long as you guys want to stay. So don't worry about coming on. I price $3 above fulfilled by merchant because, and I tinker with this because I know I would pay $3 more for something with Prime versus something without. But if you leave this set to, let's see, lower my buy box or raise it to maximize profit, it just does that with ignoring all these other things. So I had to go in and tweak this setting to lower it to within 2% or raise it to within 2% of the next price just to keep the price moving around. Because that was stunning my sales there for a while. I also went back to matching competitor price. There for a while I was going 2% above again, but I dropped it back down to just match it, because this is a slow sales point for me.
Can you hear me, Todd?
Yes, you're a little low volume, but I can hear you.
Okay. Is that something to look for then when the sales are basically going down, is just check the repricer first?
I would check.
Done that.
Yeah, I would check two things. I would check the repricer first, and I would check the product on Camel. if it's one of the ones they're tracking, because what you're trying to figure out, in my opinion, is whether it's you or it's the product. So if the product's still selling well, let me think. Oh, here, I know this will find something. Silicone baking gloves. And I apologize if you guys are private labeling these, but that's kind of the joke product. It's one thing if it's not like this. The sales rank is, just use this for an example. If the sales rank is going up, then it's not just you. So either that product has fallen out of favor, or there's some bad reviews. Like this one has been steadily going down. So, if I was losing sales probably in November 19th through, I'd say around this time frame, then I would think, hey, there's something wrong with my repricer, because in this band, sales is happening. You're 28,000 or less. If I was losing sales right about this time frame, when it was plummeting from 28 to 115, then I would look at the product, see if there's something wrong with the listing.
How do you know what product to look for, though?
Well, and that's the thing, without having the data of what you were selling, how many of each item before, it's hard to tell where you're dropping in sales.
Is it better just to go into the repricer first and check all the settings you were just referring to?
Yeah, I would go into the repricer first, and I would check. There's a couple of filters on the left. One is everyone below my minimum price, and one of them is everybody above my maximum price.
So I would go into the repricing center, and where do I go from there?
If you go to repricing center, go to manage listings.
Manage listings, okay.
Once you get there, on the left, there's a bunch of filters, and they say like active, all, missing rule, minimum, maximum. A couple filters. There's a few that say all competitors above my max and all competitors below my min. So I would check those first just to see how many products you had that were kind of just stranded at that point. Because at that point, if you're the only guy that's either priced that low or that high, there's something wrong. There's also, let me stop sharing so I can find the report. There is a report on Amazon that will show you, I call it the eyeball report. It basically shows you how many people are looking at each one of your listings. And that you can tell if something is just not getting looked at anymore, or, maybe there's a problem with your listing. Unfortunately, it's almost a item by item thing. If you're not seeing something globally in your repricer, you almost just have to go through what you think are your best sellers and just kind of start drilling down from there to see.
I just don't know where to start with this, because when I first got my repricer, it was from watching one of the webinars that you guys did.
Yep.
Last early fall or even late summer, I don't even remember exactly when, and I noticed an increase of sales within the first week, and I know that was the fourth going into Q4, but it just steadily gone up. Now, and I've talked to Sean about this, I can't figure out what's going on, but I did not look into my repricer that you're talking about, and I don't really know where to go into the repricer to start looking for this stuff. I do have a sales rep with Be Cool. He's helped me many times in the past. Maybe I should get together with him and have him analyze it, or is there?
Yeah, I would check the rule. I mean, it will show you what buy box percentage you're getting in the dashboard, so you kind of know where you're at. Let me reshare here. I've got the other report I was going to show you.
I've got so many windows open here now.
Yeah. Can you see my screen again?
Yes. No, I just see you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very disappointing. Let's do this. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, this is all this is the managed listing screen.
Right. I'm in that already, and I saw the rule.
Yeah, this
Bottom.
listings at minimum price. That means for whatever reason, there's either no competitors that are in your price range, or everybody's below you, which that will definitely slow sales. I had a couple products this week where the bottom fell out, where their buy box price is, I think, $4.15, which results in a 38-cent loss every time I sell it. So for whatever reason, the bottom dropped out, either expiration dates or something, and everybody's below my minimum. So that will put the brakes on sales. Listing at max price. This is one that you have to keep an eye on too, because Amazon, and it's not on all products, but on a lot of products, if they detected your price as, say, double retail or whatever algorithm they have in there, it would just say only available through third parties. There is no buy box. They have to go hunt for it, because it's almost like Amazon is offended on the customer's behalf, and they're too embarrassing to show the price.
I've just been doing it in bulk. I set mine at 20% min and 50% max.
Okay.
You do yours each individual item? Or?
I do, yeah. But again, that's a wholesale thing, because I'm buying hundreds of something typically. So it makes more sense for me to do it. If you're doing retail arbitrage, it's a little harder to justify that, but you may have to on some of the items, you know. This other report I was going to show you in Amazon. Let me close some of these because I can't see my tab. This detail page, and I suppressed the ASINs just, you know, so you guys didn't have them on there. But if you go to reports, business reports, detail page, sales and traffic.
I had someone look at that for me a few weeks ago, and my traffic was extremely down.
Okay. If your traffic's down, there's a couple things to look at is your keywords, and I would look at the listing, because Amazon does a pretty good job of notifying you when an ASIN changes, but they're not exact at it. And I've went in there more times I can count and found a product page that was just a disaster. Either somebody changed it from a 3-pack to a 1-pack, or they put a totally different picture on it, or it went south. So if you have something that's been a strong seller, I would go look at the listing page and look at to make sure it's still accurate and the pictures are good, that the bullets are correct, the keywords are correct, and there's not a bad review. Sometimes a product, I had one product where it stopped selling all of a sudden. There was the sales plummeting. I went and looked, and there was like 3 reviews saying, you know, this caught fire, and I heard there's a recall on it, and, you know, some kind of bad juju that made everybody say, yeah, I'm not buying that anymore. So I had to dump it. And sometimes, like I said, the picture was replaced with something just arbitrary. But look at the listing page, and then this is a great one where, you know, page views just basically tells you if anybody even wants what you have, and then sessions percentage and buy box percentage and unit sessions percentage will show you basically if anybody wants yours, you know, the one you have basically. So you will have some where your buy box is 99% or 100% because you're the only seller. So those obviously you don't have to worry about, but if you sort the other way, come on, clicker of death here. There we go. If you sort the other way, this one, 755 sessions, which means, you know, 866 page views. That means 866 times I had a chance to sell this. Buy box percentage 0. Now, even though I didn't have the buy box, 3 people ordered it for some reason. But this tells me I have a problem with this listing, that either my price is too high, too low, everybody's too high, something's going on, but that's not a good thing. You know, page views, I would say anything over 1,000, you should be selling on a relatively regular basis, because that means, you know, a lot of people are looking for that product and finding it, but just not buying yours. And this is for a month, so I would say maybe anything over.
This is being recorded, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, so anything over 1,000, I would say is fair game. Certainly anything in the 5 digits should be selling like crazy in a 1 month period. But what I would do, if you can pinpoint when your sales went down, like
it's been honestly,
yep,
steadily every week since January.
Well, I would go back to unless you have a lot of Christmas or seasonal items, you know, if it's no, okay, I would go back to say January the 1st, and this is going to rebuild it to.
That's why I was asking you the question about the toys and the rankings, and should I start going heavy, because that's the only real thing I'm doing differently is I'm not bringing in toys that way I do.
Yeah, and you're still, buying and shipping frequently, right?
Every day.
Okay, yeah. So I would start, if repricer is fine, if it were me, I would run this for January 1st through the 31st or whatever your last good month was, because I think this goes back for a year. And I would download this to a spreadsheet or print a portion of whatever you want to do, and I would look at, which one, what my buy box percentages were, units ordered, page views, just kind of see what it looked like for some of the items I have the most in stock. And then we'll do it for this past month and just see where your biggest changes are. See if something, maybe if page views is plummeted on something, or if your buy box percentage or something. And unfortunately, like I said, until you find the pattern, you may have to do it item by item, which would stink. But I would just start with, whatever in your mind you think you were selling the most of there for a while. And just
better to do this reports first, or just going to Be Cool and just that first?
The problem with Be Cool is I know they sell, but I don't think they're really top tier sales. So in my experience, I haven't really been able to do a whole lot of help with the buy box rule. They can tell me what every field does, but they can't really tell me, what I should do. You're welcome to copy my rule. I mean, I've shared it several times. If you want to tweak it and see if it helps you, I don't mind at all. Mine is pretty straightforward. I just say, in the buy box, I lower it to within 0.02% or raise it to within 0.02%. All that does is it keeps me close to the buy box and close to the next lowest price. So I get the most money I can out of it without losing the buy box. And I don't compete against non-featured merchants. I match dollar for dollar for the buy box with the competitor. If they're below, I stay at my minimum. If they equal it, I stay at my minimum. If there's no competition, I use max price. This I tinker with because sometimes if your max price is set liberal, it will price you out of the game. So I either go back and forth to this, or I customize it and set it like 20% over my minimum or something along those lines. When they're all above and below, I just go to my minimum price plus a penny, just to kind of hover and see what's going to happen.
I got to be honest with you. I just do basic stuff in the Be Cool, and I think you're enlightening me to some new stuff here. So I need to just the screen that I'm in, it would be just go under Rule here.
Yes. Once you sign in, you go to Repricing Central.
Right. No, I thought we were talking about Be Cool right now. The rule.
Yes. Yeah. Be Cool is under Repricing Rules.
Right. I'm in there already, and then I'm into the Manage Listings.
Manage Listings is where you associate a rule with the listings. If you want to change the rule, you have to go to the second one down, the Repricing Rules.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but Be Cool, you basically...
No, I see. Okay.
Yeah, you set the rule and say, this is the math I want you to use, and then for each item you say, here's the parameters.
But mine is like totally, like I have nothing compared to what you have it under Repricing Rules.
Yep.
I just have a maximum price and get buy box. That's all I have here.
So you went to Edit Rule, right?
I went under the Repricing Central.
Okay.
And then under Amazon US.
Yep.
And then Repricing Rules.
Okay.
That's where I am right. Can I do it? Can I show you my screen?
Absolutely. Let me stop sharing here, and you should be able to share it.
All right, wait. Let me stop video. Hold on. Screen share, right?
Share screen, yes, sir. Right on the bottom in the middle.
Okay. All right, I did that.
Okay.
That's mine.
Okay. And the guts of the rule is actually in the rule. So you see on the right where it says listing count?
Yes.
That's how many of your listings are using those rules. So the one that's using the rule that's most used is this top one, maximize profit. So you go over to actions and do edit rule. This is the guts of what that rule is doing.
Okay, now I'm in where you are.
Yes.
Okay, wow. I never did this.
So you probably have it just right out of the box, which it doesn't look too horrible. Very similar to mine. So you're saying when you're in the buy box, you stay competitive to within 1 penny. I do 2 pennies, but no big deal. When it's above max price, you use max price. You're competing with those first 3 competitors, and you're actually pricing a penny under the competitor, which is aggressive, which is fine. All the compete, minimum, max price minus 15%, minimum price. And then the plus sign next to FBA versus FBM. Third one down. There we go. Yeah, click the plus sign if you don't mind. Okay, so that's a little lower. It depends. I mean, that's going up by percentage, so depending on what your average sales price is, that may be fine. But you're basically saying if your next lowest competitor is fulfilled by merchant, you're going to take their price and add 2%, and that's your price.
What would you suggest?
I do plus $2.99, just as a round number.
So you don't do the percentage, you just do.
Yeah, but it depends on your average sale price. If your average sale price is $10, then it's going to be too late to do math. Let's see.
I'm going to probably say my average sales price is around 12 to 15.
Okay, so if it's doing 2% above, then you're getting like a quarter above their price. With this, like I said, I personally will pay $3 more for Prime. To me, that's a safe assumption for me because I want it, shipped by Amazon in their box, and I want it in a day or two. So that's how much I'm willing to pay. But you can tinker with.
I just changed it to what you have.
Yeah, you can tinker with that and see how it does. Let's see. Everything else looks similar to mine.
Because I'm pretty sure the gentleman that's does the sales that works with me, he went through this. Like I said, this is I've never really gotten into this, so this is something that looks like I need to get a better handle on.
Yeah, it can be a little confusing, but that's basically where your sales are coming from. And then if you go up to up at the top where it says dashboard.
Now this is saved automatically. I don't have to do anything.
I
don't see anything here that says
there's a save at the bottom, the very bottom.
Okay. Oh, I see. My screen was over here.
Yeah.
Actually, your picture was over it.
Yeah.
All right, I hit save. Okay.
And then if you go, let me see, if you click on or hover over dashboard in the upper left-hand corner, and then go down to repricing, that will show you the percentage of buy box you're getting. Let's see. Should be US. Oh, there it is. So you're getting the buy box 5.197% of the time, which mine is usually around 7 to 8. So that's a little low, but that's not catastrophic. But I would say that buy box is one of your biggest problems because if you look, you've got 79 listings in the buy box right now. 1,441 are not in the buy box, which means you're probably not going to get a sale on those.
Okay, what would you suggest I do in this case?
I would suggest tinkering with the rule like you did, and I would start looking at just sampling some listings that you're not in the buy box, and that's one of the filters. And be cool. Let's see, repricing central, manage listings. Let me see what that filter was called. No, I guess it's not. There's inactive, listings with competition. Listings with competition may work. But basically, I would just start looking at listings and then seeing what the buy box is, what your price is, and if you could be in the buy box. I mean, if everybody's just undercutting you, then, you just have to decide if you're willing to lower your price. But if everybody's not undercutting you, then there's a rule problem if you're not being competitive with that price. If that makes sense, because it looks like you have, I'm assuming that you have relatively popular products.
I mean, I sell a lot of grocery.
Okay.
Vitamins and supplements, health and beauty aids.
Okay.
Some clothing, sports and outdoors. I'm ungated in most of the categories, but that's why I was asking you some of the wholesale questions, because I'm just looking to trying to find a way where I can just get things back. I'm spending, normally I spend the percentage of money that's taken in is being reinvested to bring in more inventory. So it's not that I'm not bringing stuff in. It just seems like you're pointing things out. It's just I'm not hitting the buy box enough.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, with 5% of the buy box, then 1,400 listings. That's
bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's something going on there that's keeping you from getting that sale. And from the products you listed, it's not like you're selling, collector.
Is there a service or someone that can help me with this that you know of?
Let me think.
Or do you do this?
I'm not good enough to do it to feel comfortable recommend your business. To be honest with you, I mean, I feel like I can do it on my own, but I don't feel competent to give you direction. Where I would, are you in the Be Cool users group on Facebook?
I never even. I'm pretty sure I am. I never really.
There is. If I was going to ask somebody or engage somebody, there's a guy who posted his rule there. He's pretty active. Let me find it here, and I will tell you what his name is. I'm bad with names, but I know it when I see it.
I'm going to stop sharing here so I can get into my Facebook and look for
that. That's fine.
Okay. And what is it called? Is it Be Cool? Is that the name of the group?
It is called, here, I'll share mine back out. It's called Be Cool User Support Group.
Yeah, I'm going to look now. If I am part of it, I've never gone in it.
Yeah, I will. I think we're friends on Facebook. If so,
yeah, we are.
Yep, I will go ahead and send you an invite just in case you're not there.
Closed group, 216 members.
Yep, just added you.
Said I joined.
Okay.
I just never.
Jeremy Doolittle runs the group.
Yeah, I see his name here.
Yeah, there's a guy in here. People are frequently posting their rules and settings. Be Cool is actually active in here. But there is a guy who posted his.
Wouldn't they be the ones to talk to then about rules? Be Cool rules?
Yeah, they can tell you how to do what you want to do, but you have to tell them what the problem is first. They're in my experience, they've been able to look at stuff and say, oh, okay, here's why you're not getting sales. But if you tell them, hey, I'm always $1.
I've got a really good sales rep there, and his name is Jack. I
have not talked to him, so it'd be worth a shot.
What's the other guy? The guy that you've had on the show here. I forgot his name.
Peter.
Peter, all right.
Yeah.
Jack is the one that I'm sending him an email right now because he's in Taiwan, so he's not on the same time zone we are.
Yeah, I would tell him my buy box percentage is this. You know, I have popular products. What do I need to do to raise my buy box price? Here it is. This guy, Chris Pupke. He posted his settings here. Like a doofus, I just scroll right past it. There's a post where he posted how he has his rules set and explained a lot of them. That was really informative for me.
Aren't you glad you said I'll stay in here as long as you want?
Oh, I don't mind. I would rather have an interactive or answer questions like this than just monologue.
No, me too. I mean, I don't like to type. I mean, I can get my feeling. I can express my questions and answers verbally better than I can typing.
Let me see. I don't know how to get you to this. Here, I'll tag you on the post. There we go. That was very informative for me, and I've been using Be Cool for over a year. And this post really gave me a lot of information, especially with the comments. And so, if I was going to approach somebody to look at my rules, he would be the guy I would ask. And I don't know if he does that on the side or anything. I've never talked to him, but I've seen him in the group, and he seems to really know his stuff on Be Cool. And he may just help you for free, or maybe he'll post.
What is it? Joshua Wynn? Is that the one?
No, Chris Pupke, Puppke.
So just look where you tagged me. I don't see his name here.
He should have been the guy that.
Oh, up top here, I see.
Yeah. His initial post. Yeah, but I would read that and read the comments, and that may help. But or nothing else, post it and tag him and say, hey, here are my rules. My buy box percentage is 5%. What am I doing wrong, or what can I change?
I can actually just say, here are my rules.
Yeah, like he did a print screen. He's got a bunch of rules going on. Yeah, he posted like here. See how he just did like a screen print of what he currently has. Now, see, he disables his buy box settings because he wants this rule to apply when he's in the buy box. So he wants the price above.
That's getting really deep.
Yeah.
This is not something. you could just start doing on your own. At least I can't.
You could. It's just you could either be wildly successful or lose every penny you have if it goes south.
Well, I mean, in order to get my sales back, I'm willing to try anything and
Yeah.
learn it.
Yeah, but I would. Nothing else. I ask for Chris's help. See if he'd be willing to take a look at your rules or pitch in or whatever. Because I think he would probably be the sharpest. Like I said, I'll send you. You saw my rules. I can send you print screens. But
Okay, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, I'm actually. I already emailed the sales rep at Be Cool, and I already sent this Chris a friend request, and I'm going to message him as well.
Okay.
Do you know him, or does he know?
I do not. No, I've never even heard of him until I was in this group, and then I saw his rules and his explanation and stuff he's doing, and everybody posted wow, and I didn't know that, and I thought, well, this guy knows what he's doing way more than I do. Yeah, so he's fielding all kinds of questions for all these. So hey, he's the closest I know to as a seller who's got a good grip. Will be cool.
Okay, you might, if you get a chance, if you talk to Sean, you might want to mention you talked to me about this because it's just been very frustrating.
Okay. Yeah, and I can imagine. It's.
No, but I didn't even go this route. I never even thought of it. I mean, there's only so much one person can do.
Yeah.
But no, I'm definitely glad you were on tonight. It's definitely made me think in another direction now, which I never even thought to think of. So because I figure I just don't have all the right products, and I'm looking for other lines, and maybe it's just as simple as this.
Yeah.
I still want to expand, and which I'm trying to still do. So.
Yeah, I definitely want to get my percentage up to at least 8% before I start looking at other things, because then, or even 10%.
Do you have any thoughts about doing anything in social media to help with Amazon sales, like Facebook or Twitter, anything like that? Or
the only time I've seen those be successful is if you were the only one on the listing, because it can backfire for you if you're not, especially with your buy box percentage that low. I mean, there'd be nothing worse than paying for advertising
for someone else.
Exactly.
So I don't have private labels, but bundling might be a way to look at it then.
Bundling, yeah, and even Amazon advertising. Until you're in the buy box, even your campaigns won't fire.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I have not done any pay-per-clicks in a long time, so I know you have to have the buy box in order to do it. So.
Yeah, so I would just, I would look and see if it's just, maybe the percentage minimum, you'd be comfortable with something lower, and maybe that's keeping you out of the buy box, or maybe the rules are wrong, or, find out how to get you in the buy box, and that may unravel the whole nest.
Do you find you change your rules frequently with Be Cool, or you just set them once and that's kind of it, or do you?
I set them and I leave them until I see something happen in sales.
Okay, so, and that's where I'm at now then.
And I do it both ways. If I start seeing stuff fly out of my queue, I'm a greedy son of a gun. I'll go in there and jack up. I'll start going $2 about buy box or something because, I don't want to leave money on the table. No. And then if sales drop, I go in there and see, what the heck is going on with my sales.
Now, I know there's something going on because I speak with different people, and yes, some people are saying sales are down. Other people are saying they've had the best April they've ever had. So I know it's a numbers game. The more you ship in, the more inventory, the more likely you are to sell. But when you see a pattern, when you're shipping in on a daily basis and you're still reinvesting regularly and it's constantly going down, there's something going on then.
Yeah, if you're shipping every day, there's nothing else you can be doing.
Very seldom do I miss a day.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I'd say it's not something you're doing on that side.
No, I mean, I hope this is it. So we'll see what happens. And my other issue was what we were talking about before is just managing when to reorder.
Yeah.
It's just gotten to the point where I can't possibly keep up on every single thing. And would the Forecastly be the one then that you would suggest?
If you don't do a lot of bundles and you don't really warehouse a lot of your own stuff, then I would start with Forecastly.
Okay. Because I know we've had this conversation before, and I just never did that. So that's
yeah. I think they have a 30-day trial. You have to request an invite, which if you request an invite and you don't get anything back in a day or two, let me know and I can contact the developer and see if,
Because I have to think, if I had, well, let's just say with a repricer, there's no way you can manually reprice things. By the time you reprice it, if you did it manually, someone else's repricer is going to beat you within seconds anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm probably at that point with the inventory too. So I think it's between my repricer and my inventory. And like I said, I do have wholesales, mostly with the vitamins and supplements, but it's extremely competitive. So you just can't. What I can sell in my store, I can't sell on Amazon because it's too competitive.
Yep.
After you take the fees and everything out.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I would go after the buy box first before Forecastly, but I would definitely look at.
No, I definitely will. That's going to be my first thing.
Because nothing else to look at. You may find that you're overstocked in some things, so that especially while sales are down, you want to keep as much money freed up as possible. And this will help you with that as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. And as always, you're welcome to message me or tag me on Facebook anytime.
You're going to be sorry you said that.
No. No. You seem like you want to do things on your own anyway, so I'm not worried about that. Not at all. Still got a lot of people hanging on. I'm willing to stay on for a little bit longer if anybody has any other questions or want to talk about anything specific to your business. Feel free to post in chat or unmute yourself or jump up and down in front of the camera.
All right. Well, how about let's get back to the wholesale then.
Okay.
What would you suggest is a good route to go in looking at wholesale? Using me for an example, I'm not heavily into toys right now. I do have toy wholesale. Another one I haven't used it is Everlast, I think. Do you use them?
Everlast. No, I haven't heard of them.
Everlast, or I get emails all the time. I know Entertainment Earth multiple times throughout the day.
Yep.
I get emails from them. Everest.
I have not heard of them. They're a distributor?
Yes, Hasbro. I get emails from them every day as well.
Yeah, there's it all comes down to there. Handblown, the glass pipes, that stuff.
No, Everest is toys.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking to see if I can find their website. I'm just going through their email.
Oh, Everest Toys, yes. Okay. Yeah, it all comes down to price with them for me. I look at probably one new wholesaler a week at least. And what I will do is go look at their items, and if it looks like they have decent items, I'll ask for, ideally you want to get a product list with UPC codes. That's best case, because then you can run that through an analyzer and know, right off the bat if they're going to work or not. If they can't do that, then I just go spot check, until you find something. Funko has eaten my lunch I don't know how many times, so I avoid them like the plague now, because I can't seem to make a buck on Funko to save my life. But, I'll look for, I kind of go off the beaten path because, everybody and their brother seems like they're on Hasbro. For the most part. So I'll look at some, one of the obscure names that I haven't heard of, and then look and see if that product's even on Amazon. And then once I get in and see their pricing, I can tell right away if they're a first-line distributor, manufacturer, or if they're a second-tier kind of pseudo-wholesaler,
I think this company I think they're in New York, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have been around for a long time, and they're probably along the same lines when it comes to price, like Entertainment, where they're a little bit higher.
Okay.
But you're going to find stuff there that you won't find in Target and Walmart and that kind of stuff.
And like this one can... No, okay. So Everest Toys, so they make their own games too. Okay. So yeah, I would, this is good because it's already on Amazon. It's only 13 sellers. so that's nice. And the FBA sellers are pricing up from the buy box. They're not all hovering down around the same price. Sales rank is very good, toy wise. I mean, I think 50,000 in the April timeframe is good for a sales rank. And they're not even too seasonal. It doesn't look like they were 46,000 around Christmas. So it looks like they're a fairly solid seller year round.
On this keep it chart though, that doesn't factor in shipping. It's just giving you the lowest price.
Yeah, this is just giving sales rank and then pricing. So
is there a quicker way if you go down where it says statistic where it'll show you price changes? I think it is under statistic. It says drops. I'm sorry, drops. Would that be a good indication of how many sales, considering it's a spike?
It could. I don't use that metric personally. What I do when I'm just looking at the wholesaler is I just look at the average new price and the average sales rank.
Okay.
And if there's enough for me to make whatever percentage I want, like this one, it's actually selling higher than the average. So the buy box now is $24.99, which is above average, and the sales rank is actually above average. So, no, what's it saying? No, it says $18.27. Oh, they're going with lowest price. I forgot about that. Let me see. So they're going with the lowest price in general. So it's actually below their lower price. So $24.99 with that sales rank, I would feel comfortable with it. So if they were, you figure the rule of thirds, so you figure Amazon's going to be taking, say, $7. So that knocks you down to 18. So, if I could pick it up for around $10, then, that'd be a decent toy, I think. But that's what I do. I spot check, and as long as there's 2 or 3 things, then I'll go through and fill out the application and just, start harvesting the site. But then once I do, I start at the top, and I go through just about everything, just to see whatever I can find, what all they can sell, just kind of pick a site clean because I want to. It's effort to get a new account, so I want to maximize every single wholesaler I have and just pick everything I can from them. So I will just go through like that. But yeah, that's all I do. And then, like I said, I set up in the repricer and then I set up in the inventory thing, and I don't mess with it anymore, other than if they email me with new products or they have sales or what have you.
No, I'm constantly getting emails from all. I signed up for all these last year when I was trying to get approved for Star Wars, and Entertainment Earth at the time was the easiest one. Yep. To get approved for that, and and then I got all these other toy distributors. So
I try to maximize my spend with wholesalers rather than spreading it out because for me, at least. I feel like I get a better relationship with the sales reps. I feel like I have more clout, and I do better spending $5,000 at one place than $1,000 at 5 places. So that's just why my methodology is I pick a site clean and get everything I possibly can.
That makes sense.
And as I mentioned in one of the other webinars, I have 2 or 3 sales reps that will email me and say, "Hey, we just got this in. It's hot. I put a case under my desk for you if you want it." And they'll sit on it for me because I would try to return the favor by I try to spend everything I can on their site first before moving on.
Kind of like having your own store manager give you a call.
Exactly. It's all relationship because, like we said on the webinar, they're just some poor working schmuck, trying to make a buck too. So, the whole lead with kindness thing. So that's what I do. And, it's laziness and time. I don't want to set up a bunch of different sites. I try to just maximize what I can get out of them.
Okay. You've definitely changed my line of thinking, and I came on tonight with no idea of talking about what we talked about.
Well, good. If you can learn something, then I'm happy.
Definitely. I mean, we could have called this the Todd and Barry show tonight.
A lot of people hung on, so it must be your voice is mesmerizing. That's what
we'll be doing autographs later.
Yeah.
No, this has just been very, very informative. So.
Okay. Hang out in that Be Cool group.
I've got emails. I've got instant messages. I'm waiting for some stuff to come back. I'm going to talk to my sales guy at Be Cool, and hopefully we can pinpoint this. And we'll see where I'll definitely keep you in the loop. I'll let you know what's going on.
Yeah, not a problem.
Right.
And I didn't see anybody else post, so I'm assuming everybody else is good. So we will call it a night. I appreciate you guys hanging in there, and obviously keep Sean and his family in your guys' thoughts or prayers or whatever you do. He lost his mother this past Sunday on Mother's Day, which is obviously not a good thing. So, or good timing. So, I think Valerie is on their way down, I believe, and his family's dealing with that. So, if you guys just keep him in your thoughts, and I'm not sure if he'll be back Thursday or if you guys will have me again. But either way, something will happen. So, you guys have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.